mind-body paradigm has come a long way over several hundred years. And it's really gone about as far as it can go and in the healing arts. What we see now in our pandemic is only one area, and I'm not here to prioritize Western medicine, but I'm here to say that there are many aspects of it that leave untouched large parts of disease, large parts of human behavior, and even more looking at the field of psychology, spirituality, addiction. It's kind of, a lot of people are looking for alternative ways of dealing with this, and in some ways, to use the lexicon of the virus, it is shedding some of the brightest and most capable, and it's shedding and it's losing people. Likewise, there's a lot of practitioners in the Western field, good people, well-meaning people, that although they lack, or they see the lack of effectiveness in certain areas, they keep their heads down. Case in point, I had a problem with my knee, and I went in to see an orthopedist who diagnosed that I had subdural condyle fracture, and another one said I had osteonecrosis of the knee. I had acupuncture. I had was treated for Lyme's in a bunch of different ways, and I went back to the orthopedist about 6 months later because he told me there was no hope. And I went back there, to show him and get another X-ray, and he looked at me smiling and he said, "You have had a spontaneous healing." I told him I did acupuncture. I said, and he said, "Do you have any questions for me?" And then I wanted to say to him, "Do I have any questions for you? Do you have any questions for me?" And I told him about acupuncture, and he said, "Well, we don't do that. I don't know anything about it, and we don't deal with it." Since the 1970s, and it's only since the 1970s, acupuncture has been in the awareness of Westerners. There is something called electroauricular acupuncture, EAA, and it is known as, and it is, an effective treatment for acute withdrawal syndrome. Eastern medicine is at a deficit in the gold standard double-blind random testing, although that's changing. But by and large, they're at a deficit to deal with this sort of testing, as the West is at a deficit to explain aspects of quantum energy, spirituality. And to hold either ransom, hold them hostage, at the standard of the other, does the world, the patient, a great disservice. Well, I'm the developer of a program called Recovering the Way, which uses Qigong, Western medical approach, and a 12-step paradigm. And where does that 12-step paradigm fit in with all of this? Well, 12-step, like Western medicine, like Oriental medicine, it's a healing paradigm. It's a healing paradigm that exists, it's extant, it's accepted, it's proven worldwide. It's used in court systems, legal systems, rehabs, spirituality, clergy, government, civic organizations, religious organizations have endorsed it for 75 years. It's a paradigm, a well-accepted healing paradigm. You see, the recovery paradigm, healing modality, if you will, it recognizes that the mind, the spirit, the emotions, and the instincts play an integral part in wellness. But it goes much further than that. It doesn't just recognize it. It suggests a plan of action. More closely related than Western medicine, and even more closely related than its closest familiar product in Western medicine, that of psychiatry and psychology. 12-step paradigm talks of emotions and traits such as greed, lust, jealousy, anger, fear, hatred, elation as being excessive to their natural states. And the cause of illness is imbalance. This way of relating to the human, as in a total holistic practice, it harmonizes well with Chinese medicine, Oriental medicine, whose aim is balancing what they know as the internal spirits associated with different organs. The Shen, the Yi, the Ho, the Pan, the the I. These are resident emotions that exhibit features and the spirit of the kidney, the lung, stomach, gallbladder, liver. To harmonize, for example, the spirit of mortality, we need humility. To harmonize or to lose fear, we need to have a degree of wisdom. To lose anger, we need to understand our part. To stop being overly covetous, we need to share and know how much we have. And in order to retain, we need to give away. So Oriental medicine, for thousands of years, has in turn spoken of the imbalance of the emotions as illness, and the emotions known as fright, anger, fear, gluttony, and it says that the medicine of the highest order, in order for the physician, the treater, the giver, to express the medicine of the highest order, they need to come into synchrony with the individual. This is what 12-step does, that we come into synchrony with ourselves and others. So, this paradigm that I developed, called Recovering the Way, is not only a synthesis of Chinese medicine, here represented by the slow, gentle movement of Qigong, and the self-reflective aspects of the 12-step, but it is done in the presence of and in consort with the Western medical paradigm. And then, although it has said that the West is slow to adopt the other modalities, and why? Well, because they don't provide what they themselves had invented, which is the scientific method. The other modalities of traditional Chinese medicine and the recovery paradigm, they have been very eager to incorporate the wondrous gifts of the West, such as understanding blood chemistry, understanding the role of neuropeptides, understanding how the body has these, if you will, these neurotransmitters that are both received and sent by the tissues of the body and by the brain to let us know whether or not we are in balance. So the first step in the recovery process is one of being cognizant of failure. And I think we can all agree that at times we have done everything we can. And we're powerless to change, powerless to fix. And if we don't like the word powerless, how about do we just realize it wasn't working? Because the 12-step paradigm has a way that we deal with that. The progression of the steps is very much like Taoism, very much. It is a natural process, like water does not need permission to roll downhill. If we are powerless and unmanageable, then once we kind of, hit that bottom, the second step is coming to believe that other powers, other modalities, other answers might be available in the universe, either from people or through spirituality. Balance. Restoration of balance is the key to healing. Neither Western, Eastern, nor the 12-step model would argue with that. Restoration of balance is the answer. When I think of balance, I think that there's got to be a center point. There's got to be a fulcrum. Who is to be the witness to the balance? Who is to be the fulcrum? Who is to be the judge? And here we get close to the heart of the matter. Both 12-step and traditional Chinese medicine agree that the observer, the individual, that highly subjective individual, is a most important part of the process. The individual themselves. That indefinable base conscious awareness that each of us has. And the connection to it is something that we share. And something that we share through culture, through time. Most of us, save the gravely ill or insane, can tell the difference between right and wrong, true and false, more or less. So the observer plus a high degree of subjectivity is absolutely key to both 12-step and Chinese medicine. Yet the subjective observer in the random double-blind test scientific method, the subjective view is eschewed by the scientific method. However, using the time-honored method of traditional Chinese medicine plus the 12-step paradigm, it gives the West something to hold on to. It is an entryway for the West to say we are incapable of dealing with the issue of spirit, and let's go to something that has been accepted in the West for 78 years, which is that 12-step method, which is espoused by hospitals, rehab, doctors, court systems. Western medicine has a non-religious, non-denominational form of healing available to it that is spiritually based.